Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to the Scotty's Tubi Summer Spectacular. And we are talking about the movie Taxi from 2004, which has nothing to do with the 70s TV show Taxi. As a Nick at Night fan, I remember seeing trailers for this back in the day coming out. And I was just like, Taxi. Is it? Jimmy Fallon shows up. Is this? Who is this? And then I saw the trailer. And I was like, this is not Taxi. This is not what I think. Taxi. So what? I don't know. It's apparently a remake of a French film of the same name. Yeah. And what it is, Jimmy Fallon stars as a detective named Washburn, Andy Ross Washburn, bumbling detective because of course it is, and he ends up working with a taxi driver named Belle, played by Queen Latifah, and trying to track down a gang of Brazilian supermodel bank robbers. I don't know. Look at the cast though. You got Queen Latifah, Jimmy Fallon, Giselle Bundchen, Christian Kane has a small role here. I know him from Leverage and Angel. And this would have been around the time he was back on Angel, although his hair indicates before that. You know, it's out 2005. Jennifer Esposito and Margaret is in this. Jimmy Fallon's mother. I don't know. Now I know the gist of this movie. There were times that I sort of zoned in and out, but I don't think it was terrible. I don't know. So like I said, we had this on our shelf at home that I never watched. I know that my mom rented it, and then we ended up having it on the shelf, and I never watched it. So, yeah. Because to me, that wasn't Taxi. Taxi is... you ever... Taxi is Danny DeVito. You got no money tonight. That's Taxi. What is this? Right? But, yeah. And then when the movie started, I was like regretting turning this on because I'm not the biggest fan of Queen Latifah. She's one note in every single role that it is. Every single role that she is loud black woman. That's it. That seems to be her every character she's played. Like, you can even her character in Hairspray or Chicago, I think are similar. Chicago might be a little more downplayed. I've only seen Chicago once many years ago. But, like when it first came to DVD, but I think my mom rented it and I watched it with her or something. I don't know. But, I don't know. She's always big, loud black lady in everything. And when I realized she, and not Jimmy Fallon, was the main character, I'm just sitting here going, I think I out of the one. This is going to be a long one. And yeah, we follow her. She is a bike courier who is now going to be a taxi driver, and she's got a modified taxi cab, which is illegal, and they even point this out in the movie, but she does it anyway, right? And yeah, she wants to be a NASCAR driver. Sure. This was before a woman NASCAR driver happened, I think. It's 2004. This is before Danica and all that. So, I know a little bit about NASCAR. My mom was in NASCAR. I like to few things, but I couldn't sit through a race. Sorry. But yeah. So to demonstrate how much she wants to be a NASCAR driver, and then she has that boost thing on her car. So this guy says he needs to be at the airport, JFK, something like that, in 15 minutes. And she uses that boost thing to get him there in 9 minutes. Of course, the cops are following, but then they stop when they get to the. I don't know. There's so many cabs to figure out who it is. Or maybe it's one with the modifications on it, I don't know. And we see the models for the first time here. But, yeah, and then we find Detective Washburn undercover, where he messes up because he can't drive. That baffles me. I don't know. He can't drive. So they take his license and his car away from him, his patrol car away from him, not his actual car. Which, don't detectives use their actual cars? I don't know. I guess not. Maybe not. I don't know. But he has a Pinto or something. But yeah. So then now he's trying to stop robbery, the women robbery, and it has to use the cab to do it, and they both get in trouble for it. Yeah, I don't know. This is where this becomes generic cop movie to me at this point, because it's like every single thing they do. It's like someone watches some cop movies and go, oh, the captain or the lieutenant, the person in charge, always yells at them for doing the wrong things, and they always get in trouble every time they do something. And it just becomes generic cop movie, generic buddy cop formula in the most generic of ways to me. And I love buddy cop movies. Lethal Weapon, Bulletproof. Even the last Boy Scout was good. But this just, I don't know, didn't work for me, I guess. It's not a bad movie. Like I said at the beginning, it's not a bad movie, but it just didn't. I don't know. So they begin working together for some reason. So at the beginning of this, she has a boyfriend named Jesse, who really wants to bring her out to dinner, but stuff keeps happening where he doesn't. She can't go. And then she can't take a hint when she's like, what is so important that he has to ask me anyway? And we find out he wants to propose to her. Yeah. Although there's something weird done with this. In case I missed something, and not that there's any, movie buffs of this movie that could tell me, but it goes from this scene, and we don't see him again until the end of the movie, where they're just back together. Right? Did I miss something? The Wikipedia article doesn't say anything, because we know. I know that she gets kicked out of her apartment unless we see him again there. I don't know, but it's weird. It's weird. And we find out that Andy lives with his mother because that's where she goes to stay with him. Belle does, and so he lives with his mother, and Margaret is his mother. Kudos to them for not doing it's a man and a woman as buddy cops, but not making them love rinsers for each other. Like, not doing the thing where it's like, oh, they're gonna butt heads, and by the end they're going to. Like, she's with Jesse, but he breaks up with her, and then he has a thing for his lieutenant, for Jennifer Esposito, but then they end up together. No, it's firmly he wants to be with Jennifer Esposito, and there's still something between her and Jesse, even though they don't do much with that, really. But, So they realize that it's the models. And I just want to say here, whoever's idea it was to cast Gisele Bündchen should get smacked across the face. Because clearly they were going for, we need Brazilian supermodels to be our villains. And just went with that. Like, hey, the villains are Brazilian supermodels, and then cast it based off of that, and didn't actually think to actually cast someone who can act. Because she's terrible. I'm sorry. Just, wow. I'm sitting this, I mean, there's an entire scene where we see them rob the bank, then they take their clothes off and they're in their underwear, and I just went, okay, I could tell what they were going for with this. When they said, oh, they're the villains, the bank robbers are 4 Brazilian hot supermodels. We need a scene with them in their underwear because they're models. And let me tell you something. Just because they're models and they're fine with appearing in their underwear or naked or whatever, does not mean they're automatically going to want to do that all the time. Case in point, in some horror movies, you'll have actresses who will play for Playboy, but they're not comfortable with doing nudity because they want to move away from that. Right? And he was like Sleepaway Camp. One of the Sleepaway Camp movies, there was one of the characters was played by a former Playboy model who was cast because of that, but then requested not to do the nude scene written for her because she didn't want to keep being cast like that, and that's respectable. But then these women are just fine in their underwear. They're models. Fine. Some people are fine with that. Some people want to move on from that, you know? Serena Vincent, former Power Ranger. She appeared nude in another teen movie, and then appeared again topless and in the sex scene for Cabin Fever, but then wanted to move on from that because she didn't want to keep getting typecast. Understandable. So then you have these, they're just models, they're not actresses, they're just models, they don't do much. I think Giselle Bundchen, the only one with lines, really. So I don't know anymore. I just don't know. Terrible. They find out that the reason they can't find out what they did with the money is because they're smuggling it out through the garbage. And the reason how they're able to do that is they have kidnapped the garbage man's wife and is forcing him to do the job. That's stupid. Smuggling out through the garbage? What? I guess. And of course, they keep getting in trouble. And like, Jimmy Fallon, or Washburn, tries to tell them about what the models are. They won't listen to him because they're convinced that he's wrong. So when then it's then pointed out that they are models, why don't you tell us? I tried to. And then he's still kicked off the force, but then they still got to work it to try to figure it out. And I love this. It's a character moment. When he calls them to tell them what's going on, she won't listen to him, and he has to go, "Shut up, Marta! Now listen to me." It's one of those moments you gotta... And then they make it look like she didn't believe him because one squad car shows up early, then the rest show up. And then in a move that made me go, Marta goes, when they come out with a hostage, I kind of laughed. Speaking of laughing, I had one of the funniest moments. Is it here or is it after this? Because no, there's a chase at this point. It's before this, when they go to find out where they go to the one of the garbage man's house, right? Jimmy Fallon goes to kick in the door, and it bounces back in his face. I don't know why, but I've always loved that gag where he kicks it open so hard, it flies back into the face. So it's like, and I just lost it. I lost it. It was so funny. Anyway, this was funny too, because like Giselle Bundchen comes out and gets in the car, and then Marta comes around and goes, "Freeze! Step out of the car! Come on!" And then the other three just casually walk out with a hostage. Like, like we're not even hiding the fact that we're robbing the bank anymore. But also, they keep switching cars, so it's hard to track them down, you know. But, so she's like, okay. Marta says, take me and leave the hostage. And then we go, because at first, when Christian Kane shows up on the scene, automatically you're going to be questioning him because he likes to play questionable characters, right? He plays Lindsay, who's a morally ambiguous character to begin with from Angel, as he was a villain primarily in season 1 and the first half of season 2, and then like he does have moral things. He stops like a blind woman from getting harmed, and then when he leaves at the end of season 2, it seems as if he's changed his ways, only to then come back and try to get revenge on Angel for some reason, and then there's this character from Just Married with Ashton Kutcher, that that is a scumbag. And then you have, well, he plays the younger version of Robert Duvall's character in Secondhand Lions. Why haven't I reviewed that movie yet? Or have I? Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't, I just forgot. I'll have to look it up. I'll just got myself upset the head then. If I've reviewed Secondhand Lions, I will do a short where it's just me smacking myself upside the head. And you will know why I did that if, if you watch this review, I guess. So many people won't watch this review and be like, why did he just do a show with him smacking himself across the face? I don't know, but I'm sticking to it. Anyway, so then becomes a little wibbly wobbly with what's going on. Not timey-wimey, just wibbly wobbly. So they take off with Marta, but then they have the money, right? No, it is actually because they show up and they take the money, and then they try to negotiate, and so they say, we give you the money, you give us Marty. And then Washburn directs them to go down a certain road where he knows there's an unfinished bridge. So, and this is genius, by the way. So, they get this unfinished bridge. They get her, and they still have the money, by the way. Or maybe they get money to them, I don't know. But he says, break, and she breaks, but they jump over, because there's Giselle Bundchen's in one car, and then the other people in another car, and they're driving parallel to them. So they jump onto this unfinished bridge that's in it's like an island, bridge island, where there's no way to get off of it, and they get all pissed. And Giselle Bundchen comes out and can't act, and just starts shooting up the place, and Belle gets hit. Why? I don't know. They had 5 minutes to spare and decided to do this. I don't know. But then Washburn decides to drive her to the hospital because we gotta have a conclusion to his driving arc. That's not really a conclusion because he still crashes the car. Earlier, she was teaching him how to drive, and it turns out you gotta have a song to listen to kind of help him. And it was, "This will be an everlasting love." Now, Jimmy Fallon can sing, but he's clearly trying to sound like he can't. I don't know. But here is just, "This will be," like, sing your own key. Okay, don't try to go high. Long time ago. Don't try to sing with the music. Sing your own keys. "This will be an everlasting love." Do like that. Don't just, "This will be." No, sorry, don't do that. You know? But like, yeah, so he's singing that, and Marta's like, "Stop singing, don't sing." "Why is he singing? Stop singing." "No, let him sing, let him sing. It's gonna help him." Crash into the hospital, and she said, and then, I don't know what's going on in this last scene. So they're at a NASCAR race, and Bella's about to drive her cab in the NASCAR race. Jesse is there. They're back together. I still don't know how that happened because there's no conclusion to that except for this. There's, yeah. And then Washburn and Marta show up. Washburn has on one obvious. Jimmy Fallon's wearing an obviously fake goatee, and I don't know if it's supposed to be real or not because when we first see him, he's got a fake mustache on. And I don't know if it's supposed to be real, if he's supposed to be undercover or what. And she goes to get in the car to race in this NASCAR race, and it comes across a little Jumbotron thing, "Will you marry me?" from Jesse. And I'm just like, okay, that plot point came around, but when did they make up? Did I miss something? Did I zone out during a part where they made up during the film? Because if there's not a part, Wikipedia won't tell me. I've read through that whole thing. It just goes from they broke up and she gets kicked out to the end where they're. It doesn't even mention they're together at the end. Jeez. Wikipedia people, when you edit, can you be more specific with your plot details? You can't just skim over stuff. Because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know. And she says yes, and then he's gonna meet her at the winner's circle. We don't find out who wins, but she's racing. I don't know. It's 2004. Just take a guess. Take a guess. It's Chef Gordon, by the way. In 2004, I would have been angry at this. Now, hey, I was one of those who didn't like Jeff Gordon. I don't know why. I just did not. Because I know why. He was the guy that always won everything. It was him. It was Tom Brady. It was the guy that always won everything. And so, yeah. Then it became Kyle Busch. Still don't like him. Don't know if he's racing anymore. Still don't like him. No. And the movie ends with, "This will be an everlasting." I just told Jimmy Fallon not to do that, and I did it. "This will be an everlasting love." I'll give it a middle of the road. Like I said, it's not terrible. I would like to maybe buy the DVD so I can watch it again. But, yeah. So, before I do this, I need to preface. I took some movies out. When I pulled this one out, I was just like, because I used up both the last two of my mulligans, and I went, okay, there has to be some leeway here, because there's some I want to do that are more important than other ones that are in there. So I took a bunch out, like Showgirls and other ones. And I kept the ones I really wanted to do in here, because Taxi wouldn't have been on that list. So we're going to go ahead and pull out one. And it is Blink. No. Wild Hogs. Wild Hogs. Alright. I haven't seen it in years, but hey. Let's do it, eh? Yeah, I don't know where that's from. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on Taxi? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.